There. All right. Can y'all hear me? Now you should be able to hear me. I turned the sound. Things keep changing as to what buttons when they update these things, and I don't know that they improve them, but I have to hit a button there on the sound. All right. So, but YouTube changed their broadcaster screen thing to update it. But I can never get to streaming live from it. So it's like I have to go back. I had to go all the way out and come back in on the old one. I don't know what I'm going to have to sit and play with this before they switch it to where you can't access the old one. Okay. You're in a cornfield. Oh. I should never have touched. I was trying to fix the sound to get it onto my microphone instead of on my computer. And I should never do that 5 minutes before I'm starting to go live. So if you can see me, or if you can just hear me, you may need to refresh. Because I know there was like 30 some odd people viewing a second ago, and now we only have 7. So I'm not sure what we need to do. Oh, this thing is going to be the death of me. Why does it ever always go smoothly? Or appears to go smoothly for everybody else. But, oh, can things just start going easy for me for a change? I'm so ready for that. There seems to be nothing. Yeah, you don't see anybody from the previous chat. That's the problem. Can you still access the old chat, Joy? Because I don't have it, because I had to totally open up a whole new screen. See, and I don't have Joy. So, let me text her. It's classic. Of course, I didn't want to have all sorts of Google at the beginning of the video so that people could just go straight into working on the project. So I texted Joy to let her know that we're all here. Go to Flash. Oh, okay. Monica says, or Joy says, to go, what is it I need to go to? To Flashback. Is it a new bell? Okay, I don't know what a new bell is, so I can't tell her that. What do I need to do to tell everybody how to get over here? I can't tell everybody to reload the page in a new tab, Christine. If somebody can tell me how to get everybody over here. Yeah, if somebody who's technically knowledgeable can tell me how to tell people to get over here. Okay. See, I don't get you guys' end, so I don't know what all you guys click on. So click on Flashback Album Part 4. I'm so stressed out already as it is, trying to get the sound going and then to have it do this. I'm just, and people wonder why I don't do it very often anymore. I'm so stressed out about it all. Okay. If anybody has that other feed up that can go in and type into it so that I don't have, you guys don't have to sit and watch this. If somebody who has that other feed up can go in there and let them know how to get over here, that would be a huge, huge help. Oh, just shoot me. I gotta wait till everybody gets over here. So anyway, it's been a while. Okay, Pam, yeah, but that I need to tell the people over in the other one. I can't, I can say it here all I want, but I don't have access to the other feed. So if somebody can go back over onto the other feed, they just have to log back into YouTube, but I need to let them know that because they're sitting there thinking they're waiting for me. Okay, Joy's here. We're getting more and more people. So we're just going to hang out here and chat and watch me just completely stress out, which is my norm these days. I just want one thing to go smoothly. It's so frustrating. Whoever put some sort of jinx on me or whatever, can you take it off? It would sure be nice. I'm just over it so much, as my daughter would say. I'm over it. I'm all wrinkly. I'm just so. All right. Thank you, Matt, about WDW. I appreciate you doing that. Posting over there so somebody without that, because people are leaving that feed and coming over here. So we're getting the numbers over here now. So we'll just give it a few more minutes. So for those who are watching the video, because I also don't know how to edit, but I will. Well, actually, this is going straight to live. So once we're done, it goes straight onto YouTube. So those of you who are having to watch all this, it's about 10 minutes, and then you can go to the actual deal. I don't think I can edit this part off because it's going straight from the live stream. It's recording. YouTube's recording it as I'm streaming, and then it goes. So I apologize on that. All right. All right, cool. Thank you so much, all of you over on Paper Doodles who are posting that. I'm still trying to get a place where everybody can go for information about things other than on Facebook. So I'm still trying to figure that out. If I had 48-hour days, I could get a lot more done. So anyway, all right, thank you guys for all that. But happy International Scrapbook Day. I'm super excited that we're doing this. I couldn't miss it. I don't know how regular we're going to be back to shows just yet, but we will be working on this one. And at the very minimum, I will be doing a show next weekend where we'll work on the box. But if we fit some more in as well, I will definitely try to do that. But I'm not quite ready to start doing a regular show yet because I have to put everything else on hold to do shows, and I hate doing that, but we're getting there. I'm making some progress on everything. Biggest thing that's difficult is getting for the projects that are still, it's not about the shipping, it's really more about getting the patterns written, the samples done, and the papers done. It's just, I'm not really sure how it got so badly tangled up, but it's just taking me on a personal level longer than it used to. I used to be able to bang this stuff out a lot faster. I don't know if it's age, I don't know if it's stress level, I don't know, but we're getting there. We will be there, and I promise you, and you have no idea how much your patience is appreciated. So anyway, enough on that. Let's move on. So this is also the kicking off of my celebrating being 10 years doing paper crafting. It was in about April, May. It was about this time of year 10 years ago that I got started doing paper. No, it was definitely in May. So it's like dead on my 10th anniversary. Excuse me. But yeah, in April of 2009 is when life changed in the Denison household. That's when things kind of fell apart for Trev. I can talk about it now. He's now 21, if you can believe it. He was 11 10 years ago when I first started. He was 11, and that's when he was diagnosed with his, he has a pretty significant anxiety disorder and some other things that go on. And I'm not convinced that it wasn't something that there's some stuff that's out there, but spring break that year, he went into it. He got strep throat over spring break, and he came out of that spring break and out of that strep throat a different child. So, and there's some theories about all of that, but I'm not going into that right now. But he came out of that to where he was anxious about everything. He was very germ phobic. Now, this is my child that the 10-second or 5-second rule didn't apply. 5 minutes on the ground and it was fine. You could still eat it, kind of thing. So, but he was paranoid about everything. So, from that, we came to find out that he had these issues that went on. As I said, he's talked about it himself publicly on all of his social media. He's talked about it. He's given me full-on permission to talk about it. He's now an adult, so that I can. I alluded to things, but didn't really talk about them back in the past. But at the time, I was fully involved in my quilting business. I was working on a fabric line. I had requested to do some books. I had gone to Quilt Market, which is like CHA is, or Creativation is now, for paper. I'd had a booth there, sold my patterns. Things were going awesome. It's like my kids were getting older. It was finally that I was going to start being able to do stuff with my quilting business, and then this hit the fan. So I basically had to give it up because I couldn't be sewing 8 or 9 hours a day because I had a kid that was needing stuff, needing a lot of time and attention from me. But I was slowly losing me, not having any creative outlet. And so one Thursday night, I took that evening and I said, kids are yours, and I had to get out. And I was working on trying to do some smaller quilt type things, and I was looking for some embellishment stuff for doing some kind of multimedia quilting stuff, and I went into a scrapbooking store. Now, when my kids were babies, my husband's cousin was a Creative Memories person, and I had gone to her crops and all that kind of stuff, doing 12 by 12 pages. Not really my thing, but I have both kids baby books started. They're 18 and 21, and their baby books are started at least. But I hadn't really done much scrapbooking. I went in there, and they had no, it wasn't on a Thursday night. That must have been like a Tuesday night, because it was like 2 days later I went to the class. They had a free class where you did a mini album. Well, I went, oh, these are cool. These are really cool. So the next Thursday I went to that free class, and it's like something went off inside of me. Now, I selected papers and did all that kind of thing completely the way I did fabric. I didn't buy a collection pack or something like that. I just picked random papers that I liked how they went together. And that album is the very first album I've done that was for my dad, A Life Well Lived. You can see that YouTube video. I basically was off in my own little world in the corner. I wasn't paying attention to what they were doing in class. That's next week I went to one, and the instructor had her math all wrong, and I fixed all of her math for her and stuff like that. Because I've also been teaching quilting and stuff for many, many years at that point. But I fixed all her math for her. And then I just took off. And then I found YouTube, and I found the swap groups that were on YouTube in those days, and that's how I got started. Marion Smith had a swap group, Girls Gone Scrappy, and I joined that, and did 5 or 6 months worth of swaps until that just turned into a nightmare, as they always do. By August, I started doing my own YouTube videos, and by the following February, I started doing Ustreams. I was one of, Marion Smith, Catherine Krieger, and myself were the first 3 that were starting to do the live streams. And so the rest then is history. You guys have watched my kids grow up because they always pop in. Nowadays, Trev just calls, guaranteed during the course of this, Trevor will probably call because that's what he does. But my kids, you've seen them grow up. You've seen the pets we have come and go. You've laughed with me. You've cried with me. You're just like a part of my family, and I want to celebrate that. So I haven't been looking at the chat stuff, but you've been with me while, as I said, my kids are growing up. I streamed the live from Sarah's hospital room when her appendix burst. You've been there for me and helped me out in these last few years. I wasn't going to get emotional. These last few years when I've been having to devote even more time than I ever did before to my son and helping him while he's pursuing his hockey, which was life-changing for him. Now he's back here in the Seattle area. He's about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the traffic. We have bad traffic here. He's living in an apartment with a friend of his. He's working. He's going to school. He's going to start school in July. Everything is just really turning around for him. Sarah's finishing up her school. She's going to be starting school in the fall. My husband and I will be further and deeper into the poorhouse, but we'll get there. It's just, you guys have all just been there. Some of you have been there from the beginning. Some of you have come along the way. Some of you were here and then left and have come back. And I'm still here. It's been a rough 3 years, probably about 3 years that it's been really rough. With all the time I've been gone, in the last year and a half, I've been back and forth across the country 4 times, across the country and up and down twice. I've been to Arizona and back and twice, or been to Arizona and back and been to Boston area and back 2 round trips. I figured it out and I was gone like 4 months last year with all of this. And it's like, but you guys have all hung in there. I get behind and you guys hang in there. Yeah, I know this puts some people off and I'll probably hear about it, but yeah, I've got some projects that are 2.5 years in trying to still get to you. But I don't want to dwell on all that because we're working on that. I've talked about that a million times. It will get done. I'm not going to shaft anybody, but it's been a part of my life, having all of you here in my studio with me. I'm sitting here in a room all by myself, talking to myself essentially, but I'm talking to all of you, and it's been life-changing, and I love it. Some days I hate it, because what started out, I didn't plan any of this. What started out, I just went into that scrapbook store trying to find myself, and I did. If you'd have told me 11 years ago that I would be doing YouTube videos, that I would have, I don't even know what my numbers are. I know I have over 500,000. Oh no, I think it's close to 1 million views on all my videos. I don't have quite as many followers as I used to because I don't do YouTube as much, but I know I have like 40,000 followers. I want to start doing more and more YouTube. It's just, I got away from it because of kind of like Facebook is now. YouTube there for a while was very ugly in terms of the comments and stuff, but I want to get back to it. It's kind of my roots. So, it's just, it's been an amazing experience. Like I said, I would never in a million years have thought I'd be doing this, or the live streams. I mean, when you think about it, in all those years of doing these live streams and stuff, we've been catfished. We've had tons of people come and go. We've had people try to mess things up, but they couldn't. Over the years, I've been accused of all sorts of stuff. I've had people trying to put me under, but I'm a weeble. I wobble, but I get back up. And just when I think, I don't want to do this anymore, this is just too much, I get an email from one of you telling me what it's meant to you to have these videos and stuff. And that's why I do this. I do this. It's selfish. I do it for myself. I like that feeling of knowing that I've helped somebody. In trying to help myself, I've helped somebody else. And that is the best feeling on the entire planet. You know, outside of my husband and my kids and my mom, you guys are like family to me. And I may not actually recognize you if I saw you, but I recognize names. And it warms my heart. I wish I knew all your faces as much as I know who you are, and your soul, and your person, and who you are in the chats. So you are all, each and every one of you, even the ones I don't really like all that much, I love having you here. So it's funny. We used to on National Scrapbook Day, we'd have 500 people. We don't right now, but that's okay. It's okay. You know, the ones that are here, we appreciate you. And we'll get back to where we were before, but in a better way. So, all right. We're going to just keep on moving on. Thank you, Pam. All right. I'm going to get over being emotional, because I want to go ahead and get started on this now. Unfortunately, this is going to be on public on YouTube, so whatever. You know, my life has been an open book, and my heart is on my sleeve, and it's I'm me. You know, I videotape or I guess it's not a tape anymore, showing my age. I video my videos. They're all one-shot wonders. I don't know how to edit. I could learn. You know, I don't have the fancy production thing in the front of my videos like some people do. I don't have, you know, all these cool graphics and stuff. They just start. And they just end with, you know, thanks a bunch. I started doing thanks a bunch on those very first videos, and I've been doing it ever since. Don't know why I never say that anytime else, but it's pretty funny. So, you know, it is what you see is what you get. I am what I am. So, alrighty. So let's go ahead and get rolling on this project. This project, I'm calling it the Flashback album, which seems very appropriate because we are flashing back to the very first mini album that I did a tutorial for. When I arrived on the scene, nobody was really doing any tutorials. I think there was one Stampin' Up person that had some tutorials, but nobody was doing them. And I came out of quilting where that's what I did, is I wrote quilt patterns. And people were asking, you know, people would show albums. They'd put together kits and they'd show kits, but you were just buying the materials. You weren't buying it for a project, a specific project. Kits were all just for you to do what you want. Now, it may have been a bit more creative that way for many people, but it was also a significantly smaller group because there were those who weren't confident enough, who didn't feel they could step out and make something totally without any instruction whatsoever. So it's been such a joy and such an amazing experience to help some of you who don't think of yourself as being creative, don't think of yourself as being artistic, to be able to create these projects And then some of you have gone on to create stuff totally your own when you never thought you could. So that has been so completely and totally amazing. But as I said, I didn't start out to turn this into a business. I was just finding a new creative outlet. And I've always been one who wants to share that. I taught quilting. In high school, I designed and painted T-shirts and sold those. You know, I've always had something going. Back in 4th grade, I remember doing something with the school. We did this clay mural, and I remember working on that on a regular basis. You know, it's just inherent in me, and I can't help it. But I just kind of backed into turning this into a business. It wasn't something I set out to do. And it's been amazing. It's been incredible. It's had some really high highs and some really low lows. And right now we're in the low, but we're digging our way out. So, and we're moving forward. I don't give up easily. So we're just going to keep it on. So, but this project we're working on today is flashing back to that. And that's what I want to do over the course of the next year, is I want to flash back to some of those older projects, those kind of the beginnings, and update them. So let's go ahead and switch cameras, and we'll talk a little bit more about the project that we're working on. Oops, I'm upside down. Hello. Sorry about that. That was pretty funny. Get out of the way. All right. So where the inspiration, as I said, came from is the very first tutorial I did was for my Flashback album. I remember working on this. This is so funny. And this was shaped like a butterfly. I had just gotten the what was this done with? It wasn't the cinch. I can't even think of the name of it. That does these ring things. Because everybody was doing it with just rings. And I got one of these because these were becoming popular as well. And I can't think of something. Can remember the name of it. That's fine. Oh, are you getting an echo now that I switched cameras? Dang it. Oh, I hate this. Let me try to fix the see if I can do. Because we must have sound beforehand. And I don't know if I can change things while I'm broadcasting. Let me see. I know, I hear you guys. I see it. I'm trying. Alright, does that help at all? Did that help at all? See, I don't hear what you guys hear, so. Oh. Okay, how about now? Does that help? So that helped? Okay. I'm going to have to fiddle with this when we're not doing live show. My problem is it's my separate microphone. It's not. Okay, some are still hearing an echo and some aren't. You may need to refresh. Oh, it's echoing again. Dang it. Why can't something just go smoothly? Why does it always have to be difficult? I'm working on it here, guys. I know it started when I switched cameras, guys. I know that. Okay, how about now? Does that help? I know there's an echo. I don't need to tell you there's an echo. I know there's an echo. Oh. Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, but they haven't evolved for the better Monica in some cases. Is that better? Yes, it's better. No, it's on the computer. What I click on, Mickey, is on the computer. I have two computers running. I have my laptop, which has the broadcaster, and then I have my regular computer where I can see what you guys are seeing. It's better? Okay, good. All right, I'm just not going to touch anything now, because now it looks the way it usually does. So I've just got to get it figured out when we're not doing a live show. Anyway, all right, back to what we were doing. So the Photo By album. This has tags that slip out of the wings. It's got a special little pocket thing. It's all hand cut. We didn't have die cutting and all that kind of stuff back then. So did the butterfly. As you know, all know, butterflies are my thing. Butterflies and dragonflies. So this was the very, very first tutorial. It's pretty funny to go through the tutorials to see them. I mean, my format still looks pretty much the same. So I apologize. My husband is working on our flooring, and he, of course, has to do something that makes a ton of noise. But, yeah, so it's pretty funny to go back and look at this and go, how things have changed and how I did this. But anyway, you don't have to have this one to do the album we're doing today, but the templates for the butterfly wings, which I will show you how we're using, you do need this. And I have this at 25% off today for those of you who don't have it. I didn't feel comfortable giving the rest of the tutorial for this album is totally free. The supply list is on my website, on the blog, and also in the calendar. And then I've already done videos for the binding and for construction of the 2 pages already that are available on YouTube. But this became an inspiration. I want to talk a little bit about inspiration versus copying. As you all know, I've had a bit of experience with that here in the last couple weeks. If you're on Paper Doodles, you know about that. It's all taken care of. Everything's resolved on the one in England. It's just what it is. But the one that's here in the U.S., it's all good. It's all fine. It's all wonderful. So, but I didn't feel comfortable with this giving this template away for free when people have purchased this pattern. So that's why I have it to where I have this on a discount for this project during National Scrapbook Day, but you can make the project completely and totally without this. But I use this as an inspiration. And an inspiration, using something as an inspiration, sparks your own idea. It shouldn't be recognizable in it. If this has inspired me, and I make this, that's just changing the papers and stuff. That's not inspired by this. That's just essentially doing your own version of this. That's not, it's not just, this one is not inspired by this one. This one is a duplication of this one. And I just want to clarify that. an inspiration, you shouldn't know where it came from. You shouldn't be able to tell where it came from. You can be inspired by anything. I'm inspired by colors. I'm inspired by shapes. I'm inspired by something that happens. It can even be a sound, a song, a picture that I see. But that just sparks an idea that goes from there. And that's what inspiration, in my personal definition, is. So, from this, I'm using parts of this, though, because it is mine. I can use parts of this in what we're doing today. So, I didn't get as far. I had to go up to Everett, and I had a couple other things this week so I didn't get as much done on the sample. I planned to have the sample completely done. But this is in a box, and we will be working on embellishing the box. I have some really fun ideas to do for embellishing this box. That will be working on subsequent shows. So, okay, the tinny voice is going. It's on a different. We started out, in terms of the sound, we started out it was on the computer, and now we started out that it was on the camera, and now it's on the computer. And my separate microphone, I have to fiddle with that to get that back on there. Anyway, okay, so, but with this box, this hinges up, and then here's where the magic happens, is this pulls down, and it's attached. So I'm going to turn this way. This is hard to show here on camera. Okay, there's my box here, and then this just flips open. It's attached. We can unattach it. So let me see if I can show you. So this tips out, and then you can open it and look at it. And then this has always been the challenge of these live streaming shows, is having them be to where you can see them when they're so large. Does that make sense of how that did that? See, Trevor is interrupting. He's texting me now instead. So, anyway, all right. But we can also take this. I have it to where it's attached on, and we'll talk about more about this box when we actually do it. But right now, I'm going to take the album out of the box until I have it finished being decorated, and so that we can decorate it without the box flopping around on there. So. All right, so with this album, and you'll have to go back and watch this nifty binding that I'm using on it. It's got a thick spine on it because it is essentially, where are all the pieces, the parts? For those of you who haven't watched the video, I've taken the classic accordion style of binding, and rather than using it this way where your fins are all up this way, I flipped it over and I'm using the back side. Now, I have to clarify this all the time because otherwise I get accused of stuff. So, I originally did this style of binding back in 2009 on one of my very first projects. I had the double fin with the gap in between on the pattern for my purse mini album. I just had 2 fins. I also, then in 2011, before I introduced Stack the Deck, I had honeycomb accordion, which is the fins with a space in between. I just had an extra fold in it. Same thing. So this, and this, and this, and this are the same thing. They're just minor derivations. So this has 2 fins. This has an extra fold in the channel. That's it. I used both of these before the more popular version of this ever came out. So if you feel so inclined, don't come at me with a comment. So anyway, but what's cool is I've looked at this many times, and then you go to flip it over to put your score tape on, and I go, look at that. If you take this is kind of like, if I sandwich something in there, I can attach my pages to it. So if I take a ribbon, so if you, those of you who have watched the video, you can watch this. I sandwich that in, I can attach my pages to that, because I've been, ever since I started doing those, I've done sleeve type pages that attach on to a fin. With this version, I'm using tabs with my hockey stick tape, which you can watch that video as well, to where those are sandwiched in, and then I attached my pages onto those tabs. As I said, there's a whole 40-minute long video on doing the binding for this album, so you can go and watch that to find out how to do that. I'm calling it under accordion because it's an accordion binding, but I'm using the underside. So under accordion binding. So then, so you can watch that video. Then there's 2 page styles in here. The first page, which I have a lot of the embellishment done on it, which uses some envelopes, which I also have done a lot of over the years of using envelopes. And then this also has, I'll show you the whole collection of the paper, but this is Sky's the Limit, is the paper that I'm using in this one. So, excuse me. This has pockets that are here, here, here. And again, the free videos for constructing these pages are up on YouTube, so you can go watch those. And the supply list and cutting guide to cut, so you don't have to scribble all the dimensions down from the videos, is over on my website in the calendar and on the blog part of my website that you can download. So it has the envelopes on one side. On another side, there is a, whoops, butterflies like each other, there's a flap, and then this is turned into a pocket, though on, it can also be, here it is in just plain, it can be a gated flap. On this page I'm doing a pocket. The third page I'm going to do them as flaps. So there's pockets for stuff to go in. Then I've got this one tied closed. Then in the center section there's another envelope that creates a pocket, and then on each side of it there's also a larger pocket. So you get 3 pockets in this center section. The center section on those 3 pages, first, third, and fifth, is different on all of the album, on each of those pages. So then again, we've got a pocket and this flap, which I still need to embellish, and then we come back again to where we have the envelope pockets. So then the second, or B page, has an accordion piece on it that can also have this attaching down to where this is a pocket, or it can be flapped, and then inside this flap there's a long pocket. Now I don't have any of these guys attached down on the sides of the pockets, because as many of you are aware, I like to do that while I'm embellishing it, so I can do it a little bit different if I choose to. Then on the inside there is this flap that can be a flap, or it can be a pocket, just like it is on the A page. I'll probably make it a pocket. And this is where I brought in the template for my butterfly album. So I have this kind of center page in here on these 2 pages with that template. It's attached in, so it opens up and it's got pockets on the inside. I'm also have 2 more of these that are going to go on the inside, front, and back cover. Now I am going to put the little tag pockets, like I said, because this is my own album, I can take it directly from here. So this is going to have the little pockets so that I can have these tags in there just like I've done from this original. Now if you don't have this pattern and you don't want to do the butterfly because maybe you're doing a different version, I am going to be doing a masculine version that's more fish oriented, not necessarily fishing, but fish oriented, fish and water. So I'm not going to use a butterfly on that one. So in the instructions, it shows you how to do it, or it talks about how to do it with a straight or squared off. Because what you're going to do on this is you're going to put, you'll go ahead and put this template down, and then you can just trim the pocket around that, an 1/8 of an inch larger. So the instructions or the cutting guide gives it for this being squared without, and then you just add the butterfly on it and trim it, or you can just leave it squared. So it's whichever your preference is. So you don't have to have the template on there. It just gives you an option. So then there's another flap, and then it's same on the back side as the front with the accordion. Then you go to page 3. The inside page for page 3 has 2 coin envelopes. There's a pocket here on this side, a pocket here on this side, and then the coin envelopes also are pockets, and they are slide pass through, so we can put a tag through there. Same in the front and back section. Page 4 is the same as page 2, and then the last page, I have to redo this one because I made it too tall, but has a flap that has a pocket inside. The other side also has a flap with a pocket inside, and there's a pocket beside it, and that will attach. So you can see on this how these are kind of 2-step pages. We have the outermost page with its sleeve that slides down over my tabs. My tabs then are extra long to extend beyond, so then this one is going to slip down and attach on there when I make the correct size. And then I also will have another one of these flaps then on the back cover. So it's not super closely tied in to this one, but I'm using this as a jumping off point for creating this album. This album is more in the style of the albums that we're doing right now. So lots of flaps, lots of interactivity, lots of cool pockets and stuff that we can add to. So all right, so this version, as I said, I'm using Sky's the Limit. Let me show you that paper. This paper, and I did a video over on Paper Doodles for this. This one is kind of got a fairy and butterfly and dragonfly theme going on. Big surprise. I haven't done any of those papers, have I? Anyway, but they all have, the base of all of them was sky and cloud photos and stuff. So this one was a lot of fun. It has, as I said, it's got fairies and butterflies, but it also has some kind of architectural drawing stuff in it and stuff. So it all just kind of has a very lacy feel to it. So so let me go ahead and show you this paper. And this one is available. It's up in the shop. You can use that on any project. So you can see some of the vintage architectural drawings. It's got a lot of light and dark. This is one I'm thinking of using on the cover. The beauty of the digital too, let me just talk a little bit about the digital. I know most of you have gotten some of these, but some of you haven't. With the digital paper, I have these where you can print on 8.5 by 11. This question came up yesterday on Paper Doodles as well. Is I have designed these to where they fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Let me just go through these as I'm talking. So they fit on 8.5 by 11 sheet. The usable area is 8 by 10. So it's like getting an 8 by 8 pad with a couple extra inches long, or kind of like an A. What is it? An A something or other pad, A10, I think. I don't remember what it is, but yeah, the pads like Prima's got them. I guess they're popular. That size is popular in Europe. So, and I'm not remember exactly what it is, but so these papers, as I said, they start out with clouds and sky, and then bringing in these other elements into it in a lot of kind of neutral colors with the pops of the pink and violet and blue greens and stuff. Here's a fairy element kind of that's in the background of this one. But again, they're 8 by 10 usable area rather than a 12 by 12. I also have it to where they are smaller than the sheet. because the main reason I go with that is not everybody has 12 by 12 printing capabilities, and not everybody can print edge to edge. It depends on your printer. That's why I went ahead with the 8 by 10 usable area with a frame around it. I know some people would like it go to the edge, but this works for the maximum number of people to be able to print these at home. Okay, so, and this is just cardstock that's readily available. You can find white cardstock at office supply stores, in reams. All the big box stores have white cardstock that you can get in packs, and that's about the right weight. It's anywhere from 90 to 110 pound cardstock that you can use. This one's got a little lantern and a dragonfly on it. This one, I had to have some birds in there. There's some little birds for joy. There's another little bird there. And then a unicorn. It's on that one. But you can print these on your home computer or your home printer, or you can take them into one of the office supply stores and have them printed. So it allows you to go ahead and print these for your personal use. That's what the disclaimer is down at the bottom. So then I have some solid accent colors. There's a blue, a dark brown, kind of a pinky violet-y color, kind of a coral, and then there's some, oops, so there should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. And there should be a hot pink. And then there's a hot pink. So there's 5 kind of solid. They all have the same damask on them. So those are kind of just accent papers. Then there's a couple of all over patterns. One's a little larger scale than the other. And then I have some kind of neutral backgroundy kind of things, because you sometimes need those. You don't want everything all patterned. And you can see the clouds and stuff much more on some of these. There's kind of an aqua green. There's a darker green. It's kind of blue and plum. And there's this one. And then of course I have to have my stripes. You know, I just have to. It's just part of my collection. So I always have stripes in them. So this one's kind of has a forward back movement thing with it, but in the blues into violets with some warm tones. And then another stripe that's pink with little fleur-de-lis that kind of fit with the more architectural elements of them. So that's sky's the limit, and that's the paper we're using on our project today. So now we're an hour in before we're even getting started. So, and then I also went with color-wise. These went really well with it. I'm using some of the Tim Holtz Distress cardstocks. And I just pulled a bunch out because then because that's what I used to cut my templates out of. So pine needles, Victorian velvet, dusty concord. I don't have it listed, and they don't have the color listed on them. So I've had to go in and write them on, and I meant to go in and do all of that. So I can put a list of which ones I've used. So milled lavender, stormy sky, one of the green ones. So if you get one of those pads, you can even do it out of one of the smaller pads. But so just adding some cardstock on. I'm not doing any kits for this. This is all just, I have the digital paper available, and then you have the free pattern, which is going to also includes the box as well. So yes, tomorrow is Lois's birthday, by the way. So I won't hurt your ears and saying happy birthday to you, but Lois, you know, I love you bunches. You've been through thick and thin with me, and I greatly appreciate it. And you're my deputy in slippers, but you put some pokey things in those slippers when Joy's not able to be here. So if everybody can give Lois a great big happy birthday, that would be awesome. So anyway, all right. So as I showed you on here, I've already started with embellishing the pages. One thing with this paper collection too is there is going to be some tags and there is going to be some 4x6. I will have those up within the next few days. I didn't quite have enough time to finish all of those, and I need them all done to assemble them onto the pages and put those up. So if you order this paper, I will keep you posted as to when those will be available for you to download, but you'll be able. That's why there's some extra sheets holding place in for the pattern, and so you will be getting those journal cards and tags. So excuse me. Now a couple things that I used on this one is I created some little closure tabs to turn this into a pocket. So this was just an 1.5 inch, 1 inch by 1.5 inch piece that I rounded the corners, and then I just did some little punches because I know dies are more in now than punches because it's harder to find any punches these days, but I still love my punches. A lot of us still have punches, but everything's gone to the thin dies. But who knows, punches may make a big comeback given the fact that there's a whole kerfluffle in the industry on some of the dies. So stay tuned for further developments on that. But anyway, so I'm using some of my little punches. So I just added, I have a little butterfly punch, but I know all of these things, there are also dies available for a lot of this stuff. So I have a little leaf. My old favorite, I don't even remember what this one was called. I've used those flowers a million times, and then I have a little fern leaf. As I said, all of these, there are dies out available that are similar to them, or you might have punches like those. So, and I just assembled those into where I put the little flower back behind the tab and the little leaves, and then the little butterfly. And those are all done out of the accent papers that are part of the collection. And then I also, on the ends of my ribbons, I put some little butterflies on there. So I'm into closing these pages these days. Now, I'm not real big on using magnets. I have absolutely zero problem if people want to use magnets. I've used them in the past. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, there was a big kerfluffle here in the Seattle area where a kid ate some magnets out of a game, and they had to surgically remove them because they were screwing up his intestines and stuff. And I've also heard stories of pets eating magnets and how you can have to have your cat or dog put down. My cats like to pick things up, and my dog, the one dog, she had to have surgery because she ate a towel. So I tend not to use magnets because of my pets, or if I had small children. I don't put magnets in any of my kits because I could never live with myself if somebody had their pet, or God forbid their child, somehow ingest the magnets. So, but if you use them, feel free to do so. But if you do have small children or pets in your home, please be extremely careful with some of these ultra strong magnets. So I tend to try to go with I try to come up with some creative ways of closing the pages. But we went years where these kind of flapped around and nobody seemed to be bothered by it. So, but I do like trying to come up with different, this one's basic, it says tied, but I try to come up with different ways of closing pages. But magnets also work amazingly well. So I still have to do some tags and stuff that are going to go in this one. And then this pocket, I just did a punch along this edge, and I know you guys would like me to tell. And this one's garden rail. It just kind of fit with some of the stuff that was on the edge of the paper. So this garden rail, I cut this to where I have a 1/2 inch tab that goes underneath, and then it has an 1/8 of an inch, and then the punch part, and so that's what's holding this down on the sides for the pockets. Sometimes I like it to be on the outside, Sometimes I like it to be on the inside. So that's totally your own preference as to what you want to do on that. So if you don't want it to show at all, you can just make little tabs that go on the inside. So we'll have to decorate this flap, but I think we'll come back to that. And then decorating on here, I'm waiting till I get my journaling cards done because for these, and I might use some of the journaling cards cut down for on here. So we'll get back to that one. So so we can then start working on page 2. Now, one of the things I did do is I went through on all of the sleeve portion of the pages. They have a 1/2 inch sleeve portion, which is what attaches to the binding tabs. And I went through the whole album, and on each side, I've gone and used my stripe. Those of you who watch me using my own papers on albums in the past, I do this kind of thing a lot, to where I use kind of it doesn't have to be a stripe, but I tend to do something like this. It's kind of a unifying design element that goes throughout the book, is by having that. It's like you mentally start to subconsciously look for it. So I have that on all of the pages. So I went through and did that. So it's a 1/2 inch spot. So I did a 3/8 inch strip on that. Then I'm also have been going through, as I did this one, is I have this little 1/8 inch strip that I'm putting on these 1/4 inch pieces. Absolutely don't have to do that. It's just those are those little things that I like to do in my albums. It kind of just gives it a finished look. So you can leave it being, just the naked 1/4 inch piece. But I like adding, it's a great way to add just that spot of color. Like this has the hot pink, and this has that coppery kind of color on this side. So it's kind of fun to do that. Now, you can also look at ways of cutting your paper. Like I've cut this because I love this band. Now this one has the fairy is here. This piece here and this are from the same piece of paper. That's the way I cut it. So this part of the fairy is in here, and then the gate is here, and it worked out to be cutting it. It cut it right, not planned, but it worked out that way. So it cut right where the gate is. So that's here on the outside. So the gate's on the outside, and the little fairy tucked into her butterflies is on there. She's so cute. In there with her little butterflies. And then I repeated the stripe again up here with this little accent piece, so it kind of ties in with, and then I used the little accents piece there because it needed to be just a little bit wider. So again, that common theme that kind of goes through, and I tend to use my stripes that way because they're very graphic, which is a counterpoint to some of the soft, flowy watercolor flowers and some of this other stuff, which is very soft and flowy. So it kind of gives you a counterpoint to that. It's a kind of contrast type thing. So I kind of keep that kind of going through the whole album. Now, this little piece right here, I'm also going to put an accent here and on here as well. So that is what I call the deck portion of the binding. When you watch the video for the binding where I'm talking about the deck, that little 3/8 inch piece there is the deck. And then I'll probably cover over down here at the end because you can glue right on to the hockey tape or fabric tape right there. So we've got these 2 accordion flaps things that are same on both sides. So let's go ahead and work on this piece. But let's decide what we want to do down here, because I want to do it consistent throughout, so it's the whole base of the spine is all done that same color. So let's see what we got in our bag of tricks. So I started cutting out pieces. This is what I'm thinking of doing. This paper is I'm thinking of doing on my inside, front and back cover. The beauty of digitals is I can print out as many of these as I want, so I can print out 2 of those. There's accent colors. See, all right, where that's where I punched out some of those. I don't think I want to go with the other stripe, but that might be kind of fun. Also, that blue might be kind of cool to do too. So. These are the ones I haven't. Now, normally I would have gone through and trimmed all these up, but I haven't gotten that far yet today. So I hope to get that done this morning, but I decided to take a shower instead. So I'm kind of wondering, do I want to do this blue as an accent, or do I want to do the other, the fleur-de-lis stripe? So let's see if that is going to touch that, or do I want that? You know, I think I kind of want the fleur-de-lis stripe. I think it's a little bit more in keeping with the look that I want. So this is 3/8 inch, so I'm going to cut some 1/4 inch strips to put on there. It's so funny over the years how different the groups. You know, it fits perfectly to cut right the width of one of these fleur-de-lis things. So I don't even have to measure. I'm just going to cut it between the fleur-de-lis. Well, I also, again, somebody says they like the blue. And we all know that Lois would like the blue as well. So let me just place a couple of these on there, because I'm going to trim the blue up, and we're going to audition and see which one we like better. So, what did I say? I wanted to do a 1/4 inch. Let me do a 1/4 inch and see which one we like better. But Lois would like the blue. All right, so we've got the blue that can go in there. Or the fleur-de-lis. So we got the whoops, there, color-wise, it's hard to see. My light's washing it out. So we got the fleur-de-lis. Oh, we got the blue. I'm sorry, Lois, but I like the fleur-de-lis better. The blue's just kind of, I think the fleur-de-lis thing is more interesting, and I like the contrast. So I'm going to go with the fleur-de-lis. Might not be the most popular choice, but so ink those. Poor Trav. He had a date last night, and he just texted me that she blocked him on Snap today. I don't get it with young people these days. You know, if you're not interested, just say so. The way to say, yeah, I'm not interested now, is you just block the people on social media. Don't say a word, just say, you just block them. And it's like, how rude. Alrighty. Ink these up. Oh, we'll use the blue on our pages. This is just on the deck part. This is just those little skinny strips on the deck. I'd rather save the blue and use the blue for other places too. That blue accent will definitely be using. So, all right. Well, I got a few of these cuts. So I'm just going to score tape these on. You could glue them on either way. Yeah, I thought I might like the blue. That's why I went ahead. Let's try it and see. But I was like, no, the fleur-de-lis looks just better. So. All right, as I said, during the course of this next year, in celebrating the last 10 years, I do want to revisit some of those older projects. You know, this one was a given. I originally was going to do the My Purse and update that as a larger one with some album parts into it as well. And I will be doing the purse. That was one of my super popular ones. And it's going to be more like the original was that I did for the swap versus the one I did for the kits. So we will be doing the purse. I want to do the baby album, redo it, but in a larger version. And I also want to redo the wedding album, also in a larger version, because we used to do mini albums. Really were mini albums. They were little back in the day. Nowadays we're doing these supersized, and these are tending to be a little bit smaller so they fit my papers right. But there's a lot of other designers that are doing really larger albums. It's I want to revisit some of those projects. I've also thought about doing the My Guy. The My Guy album was the very first project I did on Ustream. So that one would be one to revisit and again make larger. So let me know if there's any others that you guys would love to see me revisit. So. These little fleur-de-lis are half up, half down, so it's not something that I have to pay attention to what direction they're going. So I need one more. Let's just do it while we're working on it, and then I can do the front and back when I'm doing the front and back cover. So, but as I said, we'll continue working on this one. We'll get at least 2 pages completely done, and then I may do the other 3 pages off camera, but walk you through them. So, or at least make sure on camera, not necessarily all today, but I'll make sure that we have at least 1 page of page A and 1 page of page B done completely, and we will do all 3 of the page A inserts on camera so everybody can see how I've done those. So those will all be done on camera, and then I can do some of the rest off camera. And so we'll have this album completely done, because I know a lot of you would really like to see the fully 100% completed album. So, but as I was saying earlier, it's funny over the years how we've had how the crowd varies and changes. Sometimes we have really chatty crowds. Lately, we've had very quiet. You guys don't chat as much as past groups did. So. Six-pack suitcase. I don't remember. A 6-pack suitcase? Oh, you mean they had the original tiny little 6-packs? For the suitcase? Well, we did all those larger, we did a whole series of the larger 6-pack albums to where they went from being the little, like almost 4x6 to the where they were like 8x10. Yeah, we used to talk about food all the time. Yeah, there was a camera for, okay. Yeah, since we did all those 6-pack albums and those all the larger 6-pack albums, there were six larger 6-pack albums. So we could do a suitcase that those could all fit into. That would work. We could do that, Monica. Thanks. I'm looking around to see if I see it here. Oh, wait, I see it. Let me grab it. What you're talking about. Make sure I'm on the same page. I thought I saw it. It's not it. Okay. I know I've seen it recently. I've seen pretty much everything recently. I mean everything. Trying to find these butterfly albums. I spent a good chunk of Saturday last week trying to find it. It was fun though, going back and kind of reminiscing through the some of the old projects. It was like I'd open them up and I'd go, which album is this? I don't remember. I remember doing it, but this is a cool album. So it was funny. It was like, what's this one called? And it's like, wow, really? This is one of my albums? Wow. Oh, okay. But I don't remember it, but I remember doing it. Is that weird? Yeah, so Monica, what we can do is because if we put all 6 of the larger 6-packs in there, because I could see them all sitting on the shelves, it would be about 7 or 8 inches deep. But if we do it to where you fit like 3 of them in, because I see all the 6-pack albums right on the shelf, the larger 6-pack albums, but doing it into that suitcase where they all just slip inside. And then I also had a camera. I can run downstairs. I know exactly where it is downstairs. It's down in my packing room. So I'll have to grab it to make sure that's what you're talking about. Yeah, because you don't always need an album that holds 500 photos. That's why I did the 6-pack albums. That's why we did those 6-pack albums. Let me grab one of the 6-packs. I'll grab one that's somewhat decorated. The 6-pack albums were intended, it grew from that little tiny 6-pack album that Monica's talking about, and then we did these that were smaller, or not, that were a little bit larger. I think this was a 6-pack one. That might not be. I know this one is. This is one of the 6-pack albums. They had lightweight chipboard as the covers. I didn't do them out of chipboard. And then they just had not nearly as complicated the pockets. See, there's that stripe thing going on here too. It's not an aesthetic I like. Oh, this is the one that had this. It had these pages that popped out this way. So, and no, I don't know which 6-pack this one is. But see, they're just small, simple albums, and so we could do it to where 3 of these would fit in, so it would only be like 1.5 to 2 inches thick for the suitcase. Good idea. All right, we'll remember that one as one to revisit. So, thank you, Monica. Alrighty, so then we got those little fleur-de-lis pieces on the decks between the pages. Alright, so let's go ahead and then start looking at what we want to do on here. Now, as I said, this can stay accordion, or we can attach those sides down, so this is a pocket. I think for this front page, I'm going to keep it accordion. Maybe on the back side, I'll turn it into a pocket. And I'll do that on both pages. So I think on this one, I do want to keep this as an accordion. This got bent a little bit. It's annoying me, so let me smooth that out. There we go. Yeah, Pam, I'll let you know what... Pam goes, I want to know what that first one was. I need to put sticky notes on these to remind myself what these are. Yeah. I know and I have to remind myself what paper this one is, too. Okay, yeah. So this is what I was running into last week. That's why it's a good chunk of the day, because I was pulling out albums from, I was finding albums from, 9-10 years ago, but I wasn't finding the butterflies. And the butterflies were tucked inside the bed of the Princess and the Pea. So that's why I couldn't find it, because it was tucked inside another one. But pulling out some of the older ones and stuff, it was just like, some of them was like seeing an old friend you hadn't seen in years, and some were like, I recognize you, but who are you? And some were like, oh, I want to do this one again. So, it's fun. Now, that one's too small. Simple Favorites were bigger. That's too small to be a part of the Simple Favorites group. Actually, I've been doing my own papers for 3 years now. It doesn't seem like it, but my first papers came out in 2016. The Gypsy Caravan, that's one I thought about. And since everybody's so into fairy stuff, that would be fun. Or am I just the only one into the fairy stuff? But that would be fun to do that Gypsy Caravan in more of a shabby gypsy. That one's in Halloween. So that would be fun to do that one in more of a shabby type thing. But yeah, Christine, that's a good one, the Gypsy Caravan. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. But the other projects, we also have, we're not just going to be doing those, because we still have the steampunk set to finish up. There's, in terms of projects that we still need to finish up, there's a couple others as well. So, anyway, all right. I'm digressing, but then, y'all know me. I've been doing that for years. So, actually, I'm thinking this might be a good one to put also on the cover, so that my little ghostly unicorn, that's another one we have to do, is the unicorn one. So, this guy, does that butterfly span across there? So that might fit on the inside. Be a good one on the inside, so then it shows some of that architecture stuff on the outside. This one, it needs to be a little bit, this can also fit potentially under here, because then he kind of gets covered over. I think I want him underneath, because I don't want to cut the butterfly off. So let's see what else we can put up here. Kind of like that. It's a nice contrast. So it, cuts her so she can be used somewhere else. But bringing that in. But, and it's like, I always get miserly with some of this stuff, and it's like, oh, I don't want to cut that off, I don't want to cut that off. But, the beauty, that's what I so am loving about the digital papers, is because I can then just print out what I want, you know. This is cut off of something else, but that's just too. So let's see. Well, you know, let me trim this down. I try to, before I start, I go through and try to trim these papers off. But as I said, I unfortunately ran out of time this morning to sit and trim them all up. So, because the white can be somewhat distracting. So this could fit on here, and what I'm thinking is I could cut around the dragonfly, so that he kind of, because there's plenty of room for him to hang over. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to trim this because I like that. I like how that is hanging on there. So I'm going to trim this one to where I'm 1/8 of an inch past the dragonfly, or ish. So if I cut it like 3 1/8 inch, so then I have this to use on somewhere else. And so if this needs to cut about there, so I just marked it. So I can put my mark line on the cut line. So I'm going to cut down close to the dragonfly, start on the other side of the dragonfly, so I get nice straight cuts there. But then I'm going to trim about 1/8 of an inch away from and this I want straight, so I'm going to use my ruler. So that can attach on there, and having that little guy hanging out a little bit is not an issue. He might get bent a little, so I might put a little something back behind him so that he gets a little bit of support, but that way I didn't have to cut my dragonfly. Otherwise, all we'd just have, you know, he'd look like a fly. All right. So I like how that's working. Just go ahead and glue him down. Oops. I thought I was putting that upside down there for a minute, but I wasn't. Okay, so then what I'm thinking of doing is on this back side here, I'm going to make something that's, you know, a partial height that has kind of a something back behind there, so it extends up. So maybe it's got a flap on it, so that it helps with that. So, and I'll probably do that out of one of my cardstock colors. Maybe this is where I can bring in that blue just for Lois, since it's her birthday tomorrow. So bringing in some of this blue, because it ties in with the blue back behind there. So I want to come down. We made it like 6 inches. I'm going to make it 6 1/4. That way you can put a 6-inch photo on there. So I'm going to do 6 1/4. And then it's going to have a 4 1/4 in this width. So if I take it up to, so if it goes 4 1/2, so the part behind, so 4 1/2 and 4. So if I go with like 8 1/2, so then, so 6 1/4 by 8 1/2. And then we're going to fold it so it has a flap. So we're going to go to 4 1/2. So we have a 4-inch section and a 4 1/2-inch section, so that we have that little labradoodle. So this can go this way to where we have a flap, and then I'm thinking if I glue it on so that this is also a pocket, I can have something slip in behind that, and that's going to give support for my little dragonfly hanging out there. So that works perfectly. So, but I can also do it that way, so my flap opens up this way. It still is extending out, so I know that there's a pocket there. Now I wish I had done this a little wider then. Instead of 4 1/2, I wish I'd done it like 4 3/4. But I could pop it out and I can run a strip right there, because I would like it to extend out 1/2 inch beyond. I want that going this way. I want to go that way. I think I like it opening this way. But it's extending that out that 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's mark 1/2 inch on here lightly with my pencil, and then I'm going to do it in a U shape. Now, typically with my accent cardstock, I do not distress them, but I did on these guys. So since I did, let's go ahead and distress it, since I kind of started a precedent of that. So blue makes every color look good, according to Lois. Now, one thing with these digital papers too, I know a lot of people like on printed papers how the vast majority are printed on both sides. You can also do that with these papers. You can just print something else on the back side. Maybe use one of the neutrals on the back side, you know, on the back side of one of the ones that are more the pattern, so that you can use those. So you can do some that have no printing on the back if you're going to be using those just to get it attached down. But if you're going to be doing tags and stuff out of them, the ones that you're doing tags out of, you can print with one of the more neutral background type of papers on the back side. So again, that versatility that comes into play with the digital paper, so that you can do things like this. Okay. So this little guy that's hanging out here, this little Patucci, is that up? Okay. So let's see where my marks are. Do I still have them? So I decided I was going it that way yesterday. So I need to mark my 1/2 inch. I think when I inked it, I kind of lost them. So then I can put my glue on in a U shape. I have a little mason jar that I've been setting my glue in upside down. I meant to put a little damp napkin or paper towel down on the bottom, then it doesn't dry out as easily. Stick your finger in the glue. I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, 1/4 of an inch from the fold, and 1/8 of an inch for the top edge, I mean. So then I think inside of it, I'm just going to leave it the blue and not put pattern paper over it. Put pattern paper on the outside of it. Oh, God, I did it upside down. Oh, I didn't mean to do it that way. Grr! Grr, 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 grr. I hate it when I do that. Scrape some of that off. I didn't mean to go on the fold edge. I boo-booed. Don't tell anybody, okay, guys? So what did I decide? I went this way, so that's where I need. Oh, there's my little marks too. I just put it on upside down. Duh. So I didn't have it correct. I put it this way rather than this way. Okay. Let's try this again. See, I make all the boo-boos for you so that you don't have to do them yourself. So now I can stick that down. Then it opens up this way. Here's my page. It opens up this way. And that gives some support back behind there. I'll probably put some pattern paper, but then this is also a pocket. So my glue is coming off. I'm trying to not have too much glue, and I didn't put enough as a result. I also tend to keep moving too fast and don't let it set for a second and dry. Oh, see, Christine also even told me, other way. If I'd have looked up, I'd have known I was goofing. So that's a pocket. I don't want to pop it open right at the moment, but so we can have a tag sticking out of that one. Joining us by text message. He's like, I'm over girls. Poor kid. All right, I like that little sliver of the blue. So then I can do something. I'm gonna want to have some. I'm gonna have, I think, something a little twist thing to hold this closed because that pops open every time. But I want to have something that's a little bit more kind of backgroundy type of paper so that it, like this one potentially. No, it doesn't do any favors for it. The green. I'll have to use the other green that I printed out, but the green looks kind of pretty there, because then you can, we'll have photos on there. Ooh, I kind of like the coppery color one. That one looks good too. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I like that one. I like the little bit brighter green. Let's go with that one. And then we can go with something patterned. Or this might be a good place where one of the journaling cards is going to go. No. I've done it too, Sarah. Okay, they both popped in now. We are complete. Everybody's made their appearance. Suzanne, these papers are called, they are available now. They are in my shop. They are called Sky is the Limit. This album is called Flashback, and it is available free on YouTube with a cutting guide and supply list over on my website. So, but the construction videos are available already with the binding and such are available on my YouTube channel currently. All right, so this underneath here is, so we cut it 6 inches wide. So that, yeah, I like how that looks underneath there. And then that gives you space to do some photos. So you don't always want everything to be, you know, pattern stuff, because then it's harder to fit your photos in. So. Yeah, I need some revamping in my website in terms of how things come up and that kind of thing. I'll have to talk to Carol about how we can reorganize it so stuff is easier to find. It is a little bit larger, so I'm probably going to go ahead and put square tape. Also, when you go to the website, if you just click on shop rather than I don't think I put the tag on this so it went into the digital papers, but if you just click on shop, the most recent thing I put up pops up first. Okay, so then I'm going to make a little tag that goes back behind there. I think I'll do that out of some black. It's blue, so let's see if we do that. Let's try a 5.5 inch wide one. Do that out of. Let's see, how wide is this guy? 5 will work. So if I want that, do that there, because I'm going to put a little tab that goes right behind the little tushy. The little dragonfly tushy. So that way I can just keep this black, and then I'm going to put a little strip of, I like the copper color. If that goes in there. This comes down to there, so if I put like a 1/2 inch strip of the coppery color, do that one. Oh, but you clicked, the reason that on the edge came because you clicked on digital papers. If you just click on shop, it'll bring up the last thing, because I didn't put this. I was trying to put these papers up yesterday when my server people were having troubles with my server, and it was going up and down as I'm trying to put this up, and so I didn't get it clicked for it to go into that category, and I need to go back in and do that. But if you just click on shop and not digital papers, because the last one of the digital papers I put in under that category was the On the Edge. So after the show, I'll go in and put that in the digital papers category. But yeah, so when you open up the page, open it where it says shop, just click the first one, shop, and not any of the categories below it. Oh, I'm upside down again. The camera slid. Sorry about that again, guys. I forgot to wrap the cord so that it doesn't spin. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this little guy is going to go back behind here. I'm going to mark when I put it in there where his little tushy two goes. So I'm just going to trace around that so I know where it is, so that's where I can put my little tag. My little tab to pull it out. Okay? So also do this out of black. So if I do it like 1.5 strip, I'm going to go 1 3/4. Or a little bit wider, and that's the width of it. So I'm going to do 1 3/4 square. That I can then score in half. You don't have to subscribe to the channel to see the videos. They're publicly available. They're on my Follow the Paper Trail website. The sizes are in the videos, and then to find the supply list and cutting guide, go to my blog on my website, go to the blog, and if you click on, it'll be blue, it's highlighted, if you click on it, it'll open up and you can download it on the blog, the post I put up this morning, or it's also, if you go to the schedule, it's also in the schedule. As are the videos are also in the schedule, the first 3 videos. It's called Flashback Album. Okay, so I'm rounding the corners of this. But yeah, to download it, you have to click on the highlighted part. So I'm going to stub my corners. So then this is going to go where I have that marked. So that's going to go right there. And I can also cover it up. I can bring in a little of my blue. So this thing is 7/8 wide. So if I cut a 3/4 inch strip. Yeah, I have them in several places so that you can find them. So it's both on the blog and also on the schedule. So 1.5 inches. So I've got 2 of these at 1.5 inches. Stub the corners. Cool. Now, how many times have I emptied these things on live on the shows? Oh, we don't mind, Suzanne. It's fine. We know people, there's a lot of different shows going on everywhere, all over the place today. So, we know people are popping in and out and not hanging out the whole time. So, it's all good. All right, so then I'm going to glue that on there. But that's one of the things with live shows versus recorded stuff. The recorded stuff, you don't have all the live interaction stuff. And some people prefer that. They don't like all the chit chat and chatter. But that is, part of at least on YouTube Live here, when you're watching the recordings, you can see the chat and know what I'm responding to. With Ustream, we couldn't record the chat, and so you didn't know what it was necessarily that I was talking about half the time. Thanks, Pam. I'm sure I'll be talking to you later. All right, so then we've got our little tag that's going to fit into that pocket. And so by having that little tab back behind there, doesn't take away from the dragonfly, but it gives some support back behind there. So his little tail might get a little bit bent. So I'm just going to bend it to start with. It might get bent a little bit more. Whoops. Oh, that's the only problem. Is you can't open this accordion this out now. You have to open it that way. So, oh, nuts. I didn't think about this part. But to get into here. It seemed like a really good idea. But now, oops. Alright, little dragonfly, I'm sorry, but you're going to get scored. Didn't think this through in its entirety, so he's going to just get scored so he can bend. There, so now he folds, but he's still there at least. Because I forgot we need to get into that part. Oops. But he still has support now. No, I'm not chopping him off. We just folded him. Yeah, I didn't think about this part, so. And then he just folds down. So he's in flight. He's just got, it's a 3D element. Look at it that way. So, yeah, he's just, So then I can still open that up. You can just push him down. So that works, right? Okay, we'll go with that. Well, while this is opened up, let's see. Do we want to go with my stripe along here? It ties that in. I like having that stripe there. So the stripe on the... I love my stripes. Always something. He's flying a curve. He's got a broken rudder. Yeah, he's probably going to fly a little crooked. There's always ways to fix everything. I like having that little accent of pulling that peach and blue, so it pulls the colors out of here, regardless if you know, trying to be supportive of the dragonfly, and then he ended up having to be modified. Why did I cut that so skinny? I'm just gonna let that dry because I can use that for other things. I didn't cut 1.25 inches. I cut that 1 inch. I meant to cut it 1.25 inches. Well, I'll just let the glue dry on that one, and I can use it to cut strips out of. Okay, there, that'll work. Creative opportunity. Creative opportunity to fold your dragonfly in half. Well, see, I was thinking about it being, that it could go. I guess I wasn't really thinking it through. I was just giving him support. I knew it could go this way, but I didn't think about the fact that he'd open up that way. But it works out, and you just flatten him out. It stays, he flattens right out. Okay, I do like the stripe along there, so that color-wise is all looking good. So then I can have pockets in there, so I just need to do some sort of tab thing along there, and we can put pen and paper here and here. Let's go ahead and do this on the inside. I happen to have a little stripe here. You know me, I just love my stripes. Sorry. See, it serendipitously worked out that I had the right width of strip. Good to go. So, and I'm going to make this kind of a neutral thing because in addition to with the tags and journaling, I'm going to have some cut apart pieces too that you can cut out. And so this will be a good spot for one of those cut apart pieces to go. And I'm going to save this for a journal card to go there. The inside I won't have anything. So let's just find something neutral that can go right here. About something like that one, kind of ties in color-wise. Maybe this is something bigger. Too small. To do that, I can do another strip like this on this side, or I could do, how I know we'll do is we'll do something like this one. But I could do some of the brown punch edge. Do that one. So we've got the little fleur-de-lis, and then I can have a punched edge going along here, and then that has room for like a cutout butterfly right there. So place that right. It's cut right there. So let's go ahead and go with this same garden rail that I have since it's out. Yes. Let's put it right there. And right there. I think I like it along the bottom. The fleur-de-lis things. There. So then, see how that goes. So we get that little guy, and then so we can have a cutout there. And for a little bent dragonfly. And then we're ready to go on to the inside and do some sort of tab. Maybe we'll duplicate that same tab that I did here. Let's do those same little tabs. So I have 1.5 inches of my dark brown. I'm going to need to cut another, or no, it's an inch wide piece of my dark brown. Let's cut another one. Save this one. It's kind of dark. And then I cut these to 1.5 inches long. It's not 1.5 inches, so for it 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to round my corners at 1/2 inch so it makes it a circle. Just like that. And then like that. And then out of the coppery color, I'm going to punch 2 of these. I have the pocket for one of the butterflies templates traced onto here, so I'm trying to work around that. That's where I'm punching in weird spots. So, and then out of the green, I did the leaves. I have one leaf, and I did these mirrored. So this is, I myself had to hand. So let's go this way. So I have them mirror imaged. And then out of it, another section up here, I'll do there we go. So it gives me all my little pieces and parts. Let's go ahead and get them all inked up. Thank you, Deborah. I'm glad you joined us. Oh, silly camera, stop it. I think I need to put some of that you put that shelf stuff that it's non-skid type thing, and then I had some rubber bands under there trying to keep it from doing it. But don't tilt it. Alright, so I'm going to take my little flowers, and this gets back behind, so it looks like that. Okay, there's little tips of the leaves. I'm just pinching. I glue this part down here. I'm just going to glue it kind of off to one side a bit. Same with this one. And then this one, go on the other way. And then I just need the little butterfly, guys. hold those little wings up. He gets to fly straight, but pop him in. Okay, so then I'm going to fold the little tabs under. Oh wait, one of these butterflies has to turn around. Oh, she came off. One of the butterflies needs to be the other way around for the top one. So that's gonna just slip over that edge. So, as I said, we'll probably do at least one more class. Maybe one day this week I'll do a class where we'll finish up working on some of the pages stuff. And then next Sunday, on my usual Sunday afternoon time, we will do the, it's at the top, we will do the box and decorate the box. So then we attach that down, so then we can do the top side. Glue him down. Can you believe it's May? I'm so not ready for it to be May. I'm really not even ready for it to be 2019 yet, much less May 2019. Oh, the time is going by so fast these days, and I need it to slow down. Yeah, tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. Alright, so that gives those same little tabs that I used before. You can see them a little bit better on this stripe. They just kind of peek out a little bit, kind of finishes the little foliage there. I want him to have a little spring so that he automatically folds back. So he just has to kind of get petted back into place. Anyway, alright, so then we can put some pattern paper in here. Let me see. This is where this one could fit because it just slips down inside. That one's perfect there. I like having a little bit more purple hanging out. That works there because it kind of ties in with the colors of that right there. That will work. And I'm such a miser. You're back, Pam. I thought you were leaving. Now, I want to bring that pop of color again in right along there. See, you bring in that skinny bit of blue. An 1/8 inch little strip. Actually, it probably needs to be a little bit wider. Just a squidgen wider than 1/8 of an inch, not much more. Just a squidgy doodle. Sarah and I had found, when we had driven up to Kelowna in British Columbia, we found some really, really good salsa. We couldn't find it in Vancouver. So, Sarah will probably be going back up to Kelowna sometime this summer. So, she's going to get a couple jars of it. It's got to be somewhere in Vancouver. We're in Vancouver more often. But we want that salsa. Canada also has some really, really, it's an Okanagan thing, some really good hard cider in a pear flavor. Oh, it is so, so good. We want to go up and get some more of that. Fortunately, it's only a couple hours up to Vancouver. Easy peasy drive. Oh, it's totally gringo salsa. Of course. I'm an Alaska girl. So doesn't matter that my niece and nephew were both raised in Tucson. My daughter and my niece is still in Phoenix. My nephew lives in Colorado now. Let's see what else we can come up with here for the guy there. So I'm thinking it could either be that one, so some of that one, or I'm thinking this part of this one, if I can cut it to where I'm not cutting off the dragonfly, but I get this little butterfly here, and then I can do something along this edge, because then you can put the photo up there. So it's either that look or the bright. I kind of like this one, because I'm thinking I'll use this one. This guy can go maybe there, or inside there, because that kind of goes better forward. So let's go ahead and get this done, and then we'll finish this flap, and that's probably what we'll get done for today. No, we didn't, and then we got still all this inside. Yeah, it's going to take probably 2 more shows. I'm going to try, I'm not going to guarantee, but I'm going to try to do a show one day this week, and then next Sunday, and then we'll work on the box maybe the following Sunday, because I know we want to get more of this album completed. And I know you guys like me doing it here on the show. So, and I would say, oh, well, I can pre-cut some stuff and such, but I also know you guys kind of you like being involved in my process of selecting and all that kind of stuff too. So. We missed you, Shar. But I also haven't been doing shows that much of late. So far this year, I've only done 3 or 4. I just needed some recoup time. Okay, so I'm going to trim this so that I have, at least 1/8 of an inch on the other side of my dragonfly here. So I can set this aside and use this. And I'm going to then put this in the inside here, bring it over to this edge, and then I can do a punch thing along there. And I think I'm going to do that more of a color. I think maybe this, I either do the coppery color or the plum. I like the plum. I'm just going to cut it in a wide piece so I can trim it down afterwards. And we're just going to stick with, instead of using a whole bunch of different punches, we're just going to stick with, let's kind of set this centered. Roughly centered. Alrighty. Oh, wait. Next Sunday is May 12th. Nope, we're not doing a show on Mother's Day. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. I'll get it figured out. Maybe we'll do one on Saturday. Because, we've got plans on Sunday. So, I wasn't thinking about the fact that it's Mother's Day. So, so we will be doing a show then next week. Maybe we'll do a Saturday show. Okay, because of the width of that, I'm going to trim an extra 1/8 of an inch off of here. So we'll do one on Saturday the 11th. How's that? Does this 11 o'clock time, does that work for people on a Saturday, or do you want it later on a Saturday? Or earlier? We used to do like a 9 o'clock my time. I don't know if I want to do 9, but I could do 10 or 11. Like 10 to 12 my time. which would put it like East Coast would be 1 to 3. $11 or later. Okay. All right. I'll give a think to it, and you have to look on the schedule for what time I decide to end up going. Maybe we'll do it, I don't know. It's either going to be like 11 to 1, or it'll be like 3 to 5. One or the other. All right, so that has the inside of that done. There's my bent dragonfly. Some little closure thing here. I'll have to figure that out as to what I want to do. But I want to wait till I get this guy done, and then we'll figure out the closure on that. So then next up we'll be ready to go onto the inside, and we can work on the butterfly. So I think we'll do that on the next class. Let's see what will this guy fit on here? I think that fits perfectly. It kind of ties in those two. I kind of like that. I'm going to trim off part of the bottom. About there. A little bit of flower up there. That fits right there like so. And I'm going to have some of these kind of flowers as cut aparts. So I'm thinking, and the beauty of those is they can also be done as stickers. You can print them onto sticker paper and then cut them out and use them as stickers. But I think so we can add some more flowers on here once I have those cut aparts ready to go. But I like tying in that kind of architectural stuff here and there. And then on the inside, maybe that's a good place to have this one. So let's trim this one up. We'll do that inside. And then we're pretty much good to go for today. Time-wise, it's a good time. And then I'll be thinking on some sort of way for holding this flap down. So we'll think on that a bit too. Poor Trevor. Anybody in the Northwest with a 19 to 22-year-old girl that likes a guy that's kind of a little bit nerdy? The guy who would treat her like absolute gold. I'm so proud of how he's doing so well. He's a good kid. He's such a good kid. How he's overcome so much of his past issues. Today's recording will be here on YouTube, and I will also put it over on the schedule, and it will also end up in the archives. I'll link it into those places. So it will be in a variety of places, but it will stay here on YouTube, and it will be also over on my website. Whenever it's a free project, it stays here on YouTube. Alright, so there's the inside of that. So we're starting to come together. I'll do this on the inside cover. So we'll get those cards put together for that. So here we're coming along. We've got that one. Here's the center. We'll do some tags that go in there. This flips open like that. We'll still need to do that page. This opens up here for photos, card, and cut apart. And then we've got that tag put in there. This opens up. Small photo fits here. You could do something along here. This could even be journaling. It's light enough. And then this is a pocket that we can add either a tall, narrow tag, or can have smaller ones, or both. And then we'll be ready to move into this inside. So this is going to be turning into a pocket on each side here for tags and such, and then we can decorate the inside of that. And we'll also be doing how to do that butterfly pockets so those tags fit in. And then we have another accordion on the back side. So we'll finish up through to here. I'll do the other side of the accordion and the other side of this off camera. And then we will also on camera do this inside and this inside. So and then the rest of it I'll finish off off camera. So, but again, the paper is Sky's the Limit, and the it's available in the shop. And then the album is called Flashback album, and it is the supply list and cutting guide are available on my website under the blog. If you click design blog, the latest post, if you click on where it says supply list and cutting guide, it links you in and you can download it there. I also have that same link on the schedule for today's date, so you can look there. I will get the schedule updated, so it looks like, because next Sunday is Mother's Day, which I wasn't thinking about, so we'll do a show next Saturday, and stay tuned as to whether or not I'm going to do one, say, on about Wednesday-ish, so where we can continue to work on these pages. So it'd be nice if we could get these portions that we want to get done, if we could get that done. I'll try to get the cover and stuff done too, but if we can get the pages stuff done during the week so that on Saturday we can work on the album box, and it may take 2 classes for the box because of some of the fun embellishment stuff that I want to do on the top. Check the design blog. You click the recent blog, and it is the cut-aparts. I don't have any cut-aparts. It was, when I put it up this morning, it went straight to the supply list and cutting guide. So I'll have a look at it, though, Joy, but shouldn't be anything cut apart. Alright, well, I'll have a peek at it and get that straightened out as to the supply list and cutting. All the dimensions are given in the videos too, but oh, Joyce says scratch that. She just refreshed it. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So let me bring this. Okay, this may mess up my. We'll try and. Alright, do I have to click the button on the sound? Does that work? Or am I in the echo zone again? When I switch cameras, do I need to change that? Nobody's talking. Anyway, I'm good. Alright, good. Thank you. Alright, so I just have to click on, there's a button I have to click when I switch between the cameras. I just need to click the button, so that's cool. Alrighty, I think what it does is when I click to the other view, it puts both the computer microphone on and the camera microphone on, and so as long as I click this button, when I go to Joy, it's just the computer. That's what, okay, so I think I've got that figured. Of course, now I'm going to put my Yeti microphone, hooked on here. Oh, crazy. Anyway. So it's been fun again, seeing all of you. I miss all of you. I think what I don't miss is the craziness of getting everything going for the shows, but I miss all of you so much, and I just want you to know, as always, how much I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to join me here in my studio while we work on these projects. But it's getting closer and closer to being to where we can be back and doing this on a more regular basis. Because I miss it, and I miss all of you guys. So, alrighty, guys. So everybody have a blast with the rest of your Saturday, whether you're just enjoying time with your family or you're continuing on. I know there's a ton of different live classes and shows to participate in. So please enjoy the rest of your National Scrapbook Day or International Scrapbook Day. And again, thank you all so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. And it won't be as long this next time. So love you guys all bunches. As always, thank you to Lois for being the deputy in slippers, and to Joy. No matter what, she's always there and always helping me out, and she knows how much I love her. So, alrighty, guys, we shall see you in the next class. Peace out. Love you guys bunches. Bye for now.